Florida has the highest number of lightning strikes, shark attacks, and registered sex offenders per capita in the United States. It is also the #1 retirement destination. These facts are related. My name is Deshaun Deshante, and today I will be reviewing its main cities. Let us begin. Jacksonville, the largest city by landmass in the continental United States. An impressive statistic that means absolutely nothing, because most of it is just swamp and abandoned Winn-Dixies. Jacksonville residents will tell you it is an underrated gem. They are wrong. It is a city that genuinely cannot decide if it is the South or Florida, so it chose to be both, which means you get the humidity of Florida and the politics of Alabama. Jacksonville's official motto is "Where Florida Begins." Based on the crime statistics, I would argue that is an appropriate warning. Rating 4 out of 10. Points awarded for the beaches. Points deducted for everything else. Miami. Ah yes, the city that looks like a screensaver and smells like sunscreen and unresolved tax issues. Miami is technically in Florida, but operates as its own sovereign nation. Nobody in Miami considers themselves from Florida. They are from Miami. This is a distinction they will make aggressively in Spanish while driving 90 miles per hour on I-95. The people of Miami are beautiful, wealthy, and completely unreachable by text. Everyone is either on a boat, going to a boat, or lying about a boat. The nightlife starts at midnight, which is a biological impossibility for functioning adults. Miami is also home to the most aggressive drivers on Earth. The turn signal is considered optional. Pedestrians are considered a suggestion. If you are not from here, you will not survive the airport alone. It is an incredible city. I would not recommend living there unless you enjoy spending $4,000 a month on an apartment the size of a carry-on suitcase. Rating 7 out of 10. Docked 3 points for making me feel underdressed. Orlando, the city that exists entirely to serve children and the adults who refuse to become them. Orlando's entire economy is built on theme parks, timeshares, and the souls of middle managers attending corporate retreats at the Marriott. If you are visiting Orlando and do not have a child with you, security will ask questions. The locals of Orlando, and yes, there are locals, live in a permanent state of irritation. They cannot go anywhere without a family of 6 in matching t-shirts stopping in the middle of the sidewalk to take a photo. The traffic in Orlando is statistically catastrophic. The I-4 corridor has been under construction since 1992 and will be under construction when the sun expires. Orlando also has the highest concentration of Applebee's per square mile of any city in America. I did not verify this statistic, but I believe it spiritually. Rating 5 out of 10. Would be lower, but Epcot has decent food. Tampa, Florida's most functional city, which is the equivalent of being the least chaotic person at a Florida Man convention. Tampa is where people move when they want Miami's weather, but cannot afford Miami's rent and do not want Miami's personality. It is a perfectly reasonable city, which in Florida makes it deeply suspicious. Tampa has a Bucs obsession that borders on a medical condition. Tom Brady lived here briefly, and residents acted as if a god had walked among them. He left. They are still processing this. Ybor City is Tampa's historic district, which means it is the part of town where you can get a Cuban sandwich at 2 a.m. while a rooster watches you from a trash can. This is considered charming. They are correct. Tampa also floods, constantly, aggressively, enthusiastically. Tampa floods the way other cities have weather. Rating 6.5 out of 10. Genuinely the most normal place here. That is both a compliment and a concern. St. Petersburg, Tampa's cooler, artsy younger sibling who moved out and got a mural on their wall. St. Pete has rebranded itself as a cultural hub with art museums, craft breweries, and farmers markets. This is all true. It is also a city where a pelican will steal your lunch and feel nothing. St. Pete residents are very proud of their sunsets. They will photograph the same sunset every single evening and post it as if it is a new development. The sun sets in the west. This has been happening for approximately 4 billion years. It is a lovely city, very walkable, very tattooed, very confident about its coffee, the kind of place where everyone is in a band, but nobody has heard the band. Rating 6 out of 10. Solid. Would visit. Would not move there unless I needed to find myself. Fort Lauderdale. Miami's older, quieter neighbor who still thinks it is relevant. Fort Lauderdale was once the spring break capital of the world. It is no longer. The city made a conscious effort to become more family-friendly in the 90s, which successfully removed all the fun and replaced it with boat shows and condominiums. There are more boats per capita in Fort Lauderdale than anywhere in America. If you do not own a boat in Fort Lauderdale, you are a nobody. If you lease the boat, you are a fraud. They will know. Fort Lauderdale also suffers from a chronic identity crisis. It is not Miami. It keeps trying to be Miami. Miami has never once thought about Fort Lauderdale. Rating 5.5 out of 10. Fine city, deeply insecure. The boat thing is a lot. Tallahassee, the capital of Florida. A fact that confuses everyone, including the people who live there. Tallahassee is a college town and a government town simultaneously, which means it is full of either students who are drunk or politicians who should be. The Florida State Seminoles and University of Florida Gators rivalry defines this city's personality more than any policy or landmark ever could. The locals call it Tallahassee. This was meant to be self-deprecating. It has since become accurate. Tallahassee is also the part of Florida that is geographically and culturally closer to Georgia than Miami, which means it is the only city in Florida where sweet tea is taken seriously. Rating 4.5 out of 10. Functional, forgettable. The state capital for reasons nobody has fully explained. Gainesville, home of the University of Florida, and roughly 98% of people who will tell you they went to the University of Florida. Gainesville is a college town that forgot to become a real city. Once you graduate, you leave. If you do not leave, that is a conversation to have with someone. The Gators are a religion here. Tim Tebow is still discussed as though he plays professionally. He does not. Gainesville is surrounded by nature, which is lovely, and also by humidity so aggressive it qualifies as a physical assault. The air in Gainesville in August is less weather and more texture. Rating 4 out of 10, great school. Would not recommend lingering. Pensacola, the part of Florida that is geographically, culturally, and spiritually in Alabama. Pensacola has some of the most beautiful white sand beaches in the entire country. It also has some of the most intense political opinions in the entire country. These two facts coexist in Pensacola without any apparent tension. Pensacola considers itself Florida, but does not behave like Florida. There is no Cuban food. There is no Art Basel. There is, however, an excellent Navy base and a Waffle House that has never once closed. If Miami is Florida at its loudest, Pensacola is Florida whispering the word y'all. Rating 5 out of 10. Beaches are genuinely world-class. Everything surrounding the beaches is a different conversation. And so, we arrive at the end. Florida, a state shaped like a gun pointed at Cuba, governed like a social experiment, and populated by people who either came here to retire, to disappear, or because rent was cheaper than wherever they were before. Florida has no state income tax, which is the primary reason 11 million people have moved here in the last decade. The second reason is denial. It is a state of genuine beauty, absolute chaos, and an alarming number of unsupervised reptiles. Florida's overall score is 6.2 out of 10. It would be lower, but the weather is, objectively, incredible.